We are your home for exclusive interviews and behind-the-scenes stories you won't hear anywhere else. This is all about Kentucky tracks, Kentucky drivers, and Kentucky fans. We eat, sleep, and breathe it anyways, so we figured why not make a podcast about it. For 11 years, we've been keeping the bluegrass covered in dirt. Now, we're doing it bigger than ever before. We are Kentucky's Dirt Racing Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Dirt Racing in the Bluegrass Live, presented by Smokehouse Grill and Buffet.
And welcome in to the Bluegrass Restoration and Construction Studios. Thank you all for joining us on the live stream here this evening, listening in, watching here with us. Worldwide Wes Lanham with us here. I'm Josh Chastain, and yeah, like I said, Worldwide Wes Lanham. Yeah.
Prestige Worldwide. That's good right there.
That's right. How you like that, Wes?
I love it. I love it. Little Step Brothers action there.
That's right. We got the drops going on here on the podcast this evening. That was my wife Sarah's idea. Man, Step Brothers is one of my favorite movies, but it did not even occur to me that clip was in there. So perfect fit, Wes, man. This segment is sponsored by the Extreme Style Signs and Graphics. They are in the process of making our T-shirts. They do a great job with all that stuff, so give them a call. Call the Racetrack Connection hotline. That number is 859-412-1287. I do want to let you know those phone lines are open, but if you call for a moment, you're going to hear just a brief. You're going to hear silence. You're going to hear nothing. Hang on the line for me. It'll just take me a minute to get to your call. But please call into that hotline. Here on the show in just a little bit, we're going to have Jason Barrett on with us, the driver of the B5. He's in a pro late model now, but I grew up watching Jason at Richmond my whole life, and he's one of those drivers, man. It's just it's cool. It's going to be cool to have him on here. Like I said, just known him my whole life, as a driver, and so looking forward to having him on here in just a little bit.
Yeah, really, really looking forward to talking to him. I have watched him race all over the state, as I told you and talking to him earlier today, and but he's one that I've never went and talked to and met in the pits. So really cool to meet him, and he's always got a good looking car, and always fast, especially at Richmond. He's no matter what he shows up at Richmond, he's tough to beat. So
yeah.
Really looking forward to talking to him here later, and looking forward to our show, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't mind, take just a second. We've got so many people we talk to all the time that listen to our podcast. I know there's several people on here already, but if you don't mind, please share this out for us. Let's get some people on here. It's going to be a fun conversation coming up with him. We've got a lot of good stuff to talk about from the past week and the weekend coming up, man. Racing is in full swing here in the state of Kentucky. Richmond Raceway opens up this weekend, so for Central Kentucky, for our tracks here locally, that's the last one to get the season started. So like I said, man, it's in full swing. I called this episode, I'm just going to start calling them a regular show. I mean, if racetracks can use it, I feel like we can use it here on the podcast. We do this each and every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, same time, same place, and we have a lot of fun with this. I mean, just having the ability, I know we're our own little circle here in this area, but just being able to talk to these drivers, these tracks, and cover them, and getting the word out about our racetracks and our drivers, and just helping people get to know everybody. Man, it's just been so much fun. It really has. I've done a lot of things in racing. I've worked at racetracks. I've done so many. I've drove race cars. I've had more fun doing this, honestly, than I've had doing anything else. So
that's very true. I have had an absolute blast doing this podcast, and we'll get to it a little later in the show. But just adding our little twirl to it with live stuff from the track as we went to Rockcastle this past Saturday. so much fun.
Yeah.
To do that and spend the day and the night at the track. What better place to spend a Saturday night
Yeah.
than at your local dirt track? So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to talking about that. So yeah, we got a, as I say every week, we got another jam packed show, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. You're exactly. We did, man. We had that live coverage and everything we do, the podcast, the live coverage. Really, we're just like, how can we? What more can we do? What's something else we can do to provide some good publicity to our racetracks? And that's really what we wanted to do this last. We didn't know we didn't have a solid plan going into that thing, Rockcastle Speedway. But first thing I want to say is just thank you to the new owners, everybody there at Rockcastle for inviting us out. Treating us so well there this past weekend. We went in, we said we don't know exactly what we want to do. I had sort of some ideas, but nothing was set in stone. We wanted to try some things. And right out of the gate, Wes, of course, very first thing, we had some technical difficulties. Imagine that. On this, so we're all set up over there. We're going to do a live pre-race show from the racetrack. There's past champions came over to the grandstand side, so we're set up right over there in front of them. And we're going to do a pre-race show. Well, I'm trying to connect my iPhone camera to my MacBook, which is supposed to just happen automatically. I do it all the time, never have an issue. All of a sudden, we show up there, the drivers are all there, they're waiting on us, and the daggone thing will not connect. Well, I'll fool with that for 30 minutes, and it finally connects. So at this time,
tell
though,
them why. Tell them why it finally connected. Who come up with the idea?
well, Wes comes up with the idea. Maybe it's an issue with the Wi-Fi, so we connect to the track's Wi-Fi, and and finally this stupid thing connects. Well, at this point, they're already hollering for the drivers to come to drivers' meeting. So Harley Ellison's over there. He was planning on coming on the show. He's like, "Man, I've got to go," and I'm saying, "I completely understand. I get it. Go on. I don't want you to be late for the drivers' meeting." Devin Smith, though, he stuck it out. And we were able to do like a 10-minute less than probably pre-race show. And but it was just a mess. And I don't know if you could tell it or not, but like within myself, I was about to lose it. I mean, I was so aggravated at this stupid thing. But anyways, we got that going and had some fun with that. Tyler Kelly mentioned the hot laps. We did that broadcast. So one of my thoughts was for this live feed, like I said, I didn't necessarily want to stream the whole thing because I wanted to do this in such a way that it would be good for the racetrack. Like people could get a glimpse of what they're going to get from the racetrack, and then we could sit there and broadcast it. And I felt like Wes, our little bit of broadcasting we got from Hot Laps was broadcasting gold, man. Like I feel like we killed it.
I did too, and the comments and the viewers that we got, I think everybody loved it, and that was just a cool kind of quick look in, see what the track was like, see all the different cars that was there in several different classes, and I think it was really a cool deal. I hate that other technical difficulties hadn't took place later, but I loved it.
Yeah, we were eating cheeseburgers live on the air, doing cheeseburger wars. It was just a lot of fun. And then we decide we've got this microphone, we've got a camera, a.k.a. iPhone, because we're high-tech around here. So let's walk through the pits and just see who we can find, and we're just going to talk to whoever we walk up on. So we grab that camera, do a live pit walk, and, man, you talk about fun. That was fun. It was just awesome. That was my favorite part. Overall, personally, that was my favorite part of the night.
It was completely off the cuff. We didn't know who we was going to talk to. We talked to drivers. We talked to fans. We talked to Spanky and Jake Despain, the voice of the Iron Man Super Late Model Series. Just cool to talk to everybody.
We had drivers running from us.
Yeah, we talked to Bartley Grant's wife on the show.
Yeah.
We had drivers going up in hollers because they didn't want to come on and talk to us. Shame on you all. You missed out. I just had a blast, and I think you said 3.4 thousand views on that little pit walk interview session.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, that's 3.4 thousand people on local racing here in Kentucky, which, man, it's just awesome, and it's what we want to do, and we want to get all the drivers we can, promoters, track, everybody, and so that's what we're trying to accomplish. So it was just a lot of fun, and then we were going to go back up to the suite that was provided for us by Rockcastle Speedway, and we're going to do the same thing we did for Hot Laps, and we go back up to the suite, and we're going to sit there and broadcast, and it was going to be broadcast gold, and it was going to be awesome, and then the camera will not connect to the laptop again, and man, I don't know, I kind of feel like you were a little bit worried about me at that
I
point, like I
I
think.
was. I was. As my wife Sherry says, when I get frustrated, a lot of times when we go fishing or do whatever, she said, "Don't throw a little Wesley fit." Well, I witnessed Jumping Josh throw a little Wesley fit. I mean, I thought he was going to lose his mind. His
Yeah.
face was redder than the bricks behind me.
Yeah.
I mean, he was madder than far.
I had
But
serious thoughts about throwing this new MacBook Air through the window of the suite, but I figure they wouldn't appreciate that. Those things being as nice as they are, those suites are awesome, man. Like they really are. I can't believe I didn't even know before then. I didn't even know they were there. That was an option that you could rent one of those suites at the racetrack. I highly recommend for someone that's got a family or just anybody, you want to go hang out with buddies, have a good time at the racetrack. Those suites are the way to do it. I'm telling you, I mean, seriously, I don't know. I don't know anything about them. I don't know how much they cost or anything like that. But I'd get a hold of them, see about getting one of those, because, man, that was awesome. I mean, it really was. Those things are cool.
they were super nice. It got a little chilly. We were able to sit up there and eat our cheeseburgers and video, hot laps and qualifying for sure. And if everything would have worked out, we would also, provided heat race action. But the suites were super nice, and I didn't know that they were there and available either until Kevin took us up and showed us. So, yeah, that's definitely the way to go for
Yeah.
a family or a group of buddies. Go up there and watch a race. There's tables, there's chairs, there's a little refrigerator in there. Um,
You can
Super
order from the
nice.
concession
Yeah.
menu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So just cool. I mean, it really, really was. Well, let's talk a little bit about the racing action. So, new owners over there at Rockcastle, first night. Look, man, I feel like that. I'm telling you, I don't just feel this way. They did. They did a stellar job. I mean, they did an awesome job with that event. Man, just an awesome job by everybody there. I saw Kevin apologize for a few things on Facebook and stuff. Man, I'll be honest with you. I think he was just being a little hard on himself. I understand. I get it because there was so much going on, and I know they were, dealing with a lot being first time, but I think they were a little hard on themselves. I thought it was awesome. Just absolutely just a great night overall, and looking forward to the year at Rockcastle. The track was great. They kept the show moving. I mean, it was just really good. So hats off to them. They're going to do an awesome job over there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, they had a couple hiccups, but for their first night, I thought everything went fantastic. Um, you know, a big shout out to them and their entire staff. I mean, they all worked their tails off, and to even get that race and that show in on Saturday night with the amount of rain that we got prior to
Hmm.
was amazing. The track, it was dry and slicked off, but it made for great racing, and the track was smooth as a baby's butt, as
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier. And it was just a great racing surface. I think everybody just had a blast, fun night of racing, and just hats off
Yeah.
to Kevin and Dwayne, their wives, and the entire staff at Rockcastle Speedway.
I like how everybody just refers to, including myself, Kevin, Dwayne, and their wives, because we can never. Well, I know both of their names, but I'm always afraid I'm going to say like the wrong wife for the wrong one. But yeah, you're exactly right, and I'll be honest with you. Dry, slick track, better for racing. Puts it in the driver's hands. So overall, it was awesome. And coming up this weekend, I do want to mention real quick, Cumberland Plateau Open Wheel Modified Series going to be at the Rock this Saturday night for 2,000 to win, and they'll have their regular classes there as well. So looking forward to that, and I know they'll have another good show over there at Rockcastle Speedway coming up this Saturday night. Well, Wes, let's take a quick commercial break here, pay some bills. We've got some sponsors that we appreciate a whole lot here on our podcast. They help us make all this stuff possible. Let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have Jason Barrett on the Racetrack Connection hotline. Again, if you will, please, someone call. We want to hear from you, our fans. Fans of dirt racing here in Central Kentucky. Call the show. It's 859-412-1287. We'll be back here in just a minute.
Racetrack Connection is a social media app designed specifically for racing. On the app, you can find a track, find a driver, review and print track schedules, and use the chat feature to communicate with other fans and drivers at any event. There's even a map feature where you can locate racetracks all across the U.S., plus many other features, all for free. Download the Racetrack Connection app today. Donnie Kaufman used to say, "It's good enough to make your tongue slap your brains out, honey." That's what we think about the home cooking at Smokehouse Grill and Buffet in Berea. Choose from the delicious options on their home-style buffet and salad bar, or order from the full menu. Not to mention their desserts and some of the best breakfast you'll ever eat. We promise you'll never be disappointed with this racing family-owned business. Visit their friendly staff and grab a bite to eat. Located just off exit 77 in Berea.
Hi there, I'm Alan Feldhouse Jr., head basketball coach at Madison Central High School. Here at MCHS, we have built a winning team. And I'd like to tell you about another local winning team, family-owned and operated Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. They specialize in roofing, general construction, and home maintenance services. Just like on the court, you need a team that will work together to get the job done. And that's exactly what BRC does. Give them a call at 859-353-1133. Road Tribe.
And welcome back into the Bluegrass Restoration and Construction Studio. We're now joined on the Racetrack Connection hotline by Jason Barrett. Jason, I've been looking forward to having a conversation on here with you for quite some time. I said it before, but I'll say it again. I grew up at Richmond Raceway, and watching you race and several of those guys over there at Richmond, and it's been a whole lot of fun throughout the years watching you. That's for sure.
I appreciate that, man. It's it's been it's been a long time, getting to this point. I've been in the sport a long time, and it's just kind of cool to hear you say that. I remember when I was a kid watching some of these guys, Mike Jewell, Dennis Roberson, and it's kind of come full circle,
Yeah, that's for sure. So, well, I mean, I'm not trying to call you one of the older guys or anything.
It's okay.
It wasn't meaning that. But I guess you're right. Mike Jewell he's retired now, and some of these guys are out of the sport that you and I both, I guess, really, and for a long time grew up watching. But I guess that is true in a sense. And to be a 6-time champion, you have to have a few years under your belt, anyways.
Yeah, definitely. It's I want to say I think my first full season was 2000, so we're looking at going on 23 years. It's doesn't really seem like that long. But then again, there's been a lot of weekends, in those 20 years or in those 23 years that have come and gone.
Yeah. So, and speaking of, I should have introduced you as 6-time Richmond Raceway track champion. When are you going to let somebody else maybe start winning some track championships? You seem to win it all. You seem to win them all.
Well, it never really starts out like that. Like we're just going for, specifically a track championship. Start out trying to win races, and seems like I'm a little bit better at winning track championships than I am races. So I think I've got the consistency down. I'd definitely like to win, a little bit more. But I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish.
Well, the cool thing is for this year, you won some money for that track championship, but you also, Bill, they do a great job with their track champions. You got that golden ticket. So my understanding what that is, you get to just fly through the gate this year, man, and you got some other things as well. But hey, that's pretty cool. You don't even have to. Well, I guess you have to stop and sign in, but otherwise you wouldn't even have to stop at the pit gate. So that's a pretty cool little bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Bill and his family, they've been fantastic and definitely rewarded the guys who have supported them week in and week out, and we appreciate that a lot. And that money and those free passes, like that comes in handy. That makes a difference to guys like me with my team. And getting that cool crystal trophy, and it's just cool to be fortunate enough to be in that position to be able to kind of close the deal on some of those things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you talked about growing up watching some of those guys at Richmond early on in your career. I mean, did you ever think? I mean, most of us, Wes, this is true. We just dream about getting to be a champion at anything, I guess, when it comes to racing. But did you ever think? I mean, these years later, that you'd be the 6-time track champion and have the amount of success there at the track that you've had?
No, I didn't. I just wanted to be a part of the sport. I wanted to be a respected driver, and just go out and compete, and just run as good as I could. I knew if I put the time and the effort in, that the wins and the championships would kind of, fall into place. And it was a lot of hard work, a lot of late nights, because kind of we didn't really start out to win those championships. But when we got, halfway through the season or something, and we look and, hey, we've led this most of the way, let's go ahead and close the deal. So then we kind of just continue to race like we had been racing. Just go out and try to run as strong as we can and finish as good as we can.
Yeah. Tyler Kelly here, he asked, do you have the most, or does he have, all right, I'll get it right here in a second, the most track championships at the Rat? That's kind of a throwback. I want to get to that here in just a second, just calling it the Rat as well. But as far as late models go, yes, he does have the most, between supers and now the pro late models, he does have the most track championships of any driver. Richmond Raceway has a storied history. I mean, that place has been there for a long time, man. So that has to be something that it has to make you feel good to have that stat next to your name, I guess. Yeah. Did you even know that? I don't know. You might not.
I did not. No, I knew just from growing up that Bobby Carrier Jr. had won a bunch there, and he was always someone that I looked up to and mentored me, when I got into the sport. Of course, my dad, had drove for since the mid 70s. And of course he was my hero and the one I looked up to. And then, when I started driving, I just, Bobby Carrier Jr. was the man, here in Lake Cumberland and Ponderosa, he won track championships, multiple track championships across those 3 racetracks. And, so I didn't know that. That's really cool. It's something I'm very proud of. Richmond is it is rich in history. It has been around here for a long, long time. And my family is, I'm 44. I was born on a Thursday and I went to the races on a Saturday. So I've literally been going to that place since I was 2 days old, and I've seen a lot there, each weekend that we go, and it's just been cool to see how it's progressed, from then until now, and then it's still going strong. Bill and his family are doing a fantastic job with it, and I look for that to continue going forward.
Actually, I stand corrected on that. Hey, facts are optional here on the Dirt Racing and Bluegrass Live podcast. So, Bob, you're right. Bobby Carrier Jr. is a 7-time track champion at Richmond Raceway. He was the one that I kind of forgot there in my memory. But you mentioned him, and you're right. That's a name, man. I remember back in those days, the 90s, 2000s, man, he was the man to beat at Richmond every week, it seemed like.
Yeah, he was tough. I mean, anytime he pulled in the gates, he was going to compete for the win.
Yeah.
And that's what he came to do. He came to win. And man, I just always still, look up to him and respect him and what he accomplished. And just really cool to be kind of mentioned in the same name as him. Somebody that I grew up watching and idolizing and racing with. And it was pretty cool. He came and saw me last year. We went to Ponderosa Speedway to race, and he came over and hung out with me a little bit, and that was cool. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and that was cool to get to see him.
Yeah.
That is cool. I mean, anytime you think of the name Carrier across the state in racing, the history in that family is just it's at the top. So that's cool. That you got to look up to him, race with him, and I'm sure those were some great battles throughout the years.
Oh, absolutely. We, that was back in when Richmond was just really bottom dominant, and it was just literally a dog fight for the bottom, and man, those were some intense battles. Just watching him and then being able to race door to door with him, and we would go to Clinton County on Friday night. We would go there and race, and we'd race door to door with him there, and Aaron Hatton and Tyrell Todd. And, then we would come down here to Richmond and run out here, and it's just a lot of good memories, and just the history there at Richmond is it's very special. It seems like a lot of guys have a love-hate relationship with that place. Even though they hate it, they still kind of come back to race, to try to change their luck. And I just feel very fortunate that I've always been able to be competitive there and call that my home track.
Yeah,
that's very true. You talk about that love-hate relationship. Such a storied history that Richmond Raceway has, and that last race last fall, talking to a lot of the drivers in the pits were just plumb full, and just there is that love-hate relationship with it, but they keep coming back and they love Richmond, and you look at it and it's like, man, what would Central Kentucky or the whole state of Kentucky do without Richmond Raceway because of the history? I mean, that has been there and is still to come, and it's just it's a neat little place, and the people from the area absolutely love it, and that's what's cool. And talking to fans and drivers, and that's what brings them back every weekend.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to us, Like, I mean, it really is, and you can't replace it. It's different than any other place in the country, and it has it's the beast of the East. It's been its new motto for the last several years, and it fits. I mean, it is. It is truly a different beast, but that's what makes Richmond Raceway what it is. And while we're on that topic, you hate to see some of the struggles that the track is having now, Bill and them, some of the things that they have to deal with from the community and things like that. Because for us here in this area, Richmond Raceway, man, it's been a staple. It's been a part of our lives, our whole lives. Jason, you hate to see some of the stuff that they're having to deal with. It's unfortunate to see.
Yeah, definitely. The negativity is definitely hurting. The sport and the attendance. It's very unfortunate to see You want everybody to kind of wrap their arms around that place and see it go. I'd love to see my kids, see it still be there, say 30, 40 years from now. That's what we'd love to see. Yeah, it's unfortunate. They Bill and his family, they try really hard and they do a good job. It's just, unfortunately in this business, some people you can't, you just can't please. You can't please, you can't satisfy, and you just got to kind of keep your head down and keep digging going forward and just try to stay as positive as you can and try to do what you think's in the racetrack's best interest and even the business, the business side of it. A lot of people lose track of that side of it. It's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business, and it needs to be successful.
Yeah,
right.
That takes a lot of effort, and a lot of people don't realize what these track owners and track promoters do and what they sacrifice to be able to give us a place to go and do something we love and try to put on as good a show as we can for the fans and give them memories, for 25 and 30 years. So, I'd really like to see these track owners and promoters get a lot more praise for the things that they've done and the things they're trying to do and the risks that they take. They're risking a lot and giving up a lot of their family time. And, it would be nice to see those folks rewarded for their efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I saw that firsthand this weekend, Wes. And I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a bad way whatsoever. But just being up there and seeing what goes on. And this is just a race night. We're not talking about every other day throughout the week just to get things together. But just on a race night, seeing what all goes into having to try to run just a racing program is. I think for anybody who doubts what these people who own and promote these racetracks put into it should just go be in the tower one night or go find that promoter and don't let him know you're a creep and that you're following, but just follow him around and just see what goes on there, and you'll have a whole new appreciation for what these people do. I mean, it's just I'm telling you, this weekend sort of opened my eyes to just how tough it is to do what they're doing.
Yeah, because we got there early, about the time that the grandstand side opened, and we were, getting our stuff set up and just kind of watching it. And, we talked to Kevin and Dwayne. They were in a constant run the entire night, getting things situated, jumping on a golf cart, jumping in the truck. I mean, I'd like to see the step tracker on both of them for the entire day, and I think Kevin said he got there like 6:30 that morning, something like that. Had a flat on the truck on the way to the track. I mean, just crazy day. But that's what it takes, and all of our owners and promoters. We've talked about this. We are blessed in the state and in our area for sure. With some of the best in the country, and we appreciate them and all the hard work. I mean, just seeing them in the day, but the whole week leading up to it. Crazy weather you got to deal with, and getting the track ready, getting the grounds ready, concessions. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it that people don't realize until they're walking their shoes.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. So, but anyways, let's talk about another thing here, because again, he brought it up, and it's something I've thought about several times. Jason, you were talking about your battles with growing up and trying to compete against Bobby Carrier Jr. Mike Hawley is another name that comes to mind. Richard Smith. I don't know, man. I could just keep going on down the list, and that's just super late models. But in those road hogs, you had Daryl Kane, Hounshell, Bartley Grant. Tell me throw some names out there. I'm missing a bunch. My mind's going blank.
I can go back even further. Of course, my Uncle Robert. I mean, he dominated the road hogs out there for a couple years.
There you go. Yeah,
Uncle Donald, he did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then let's see here, Starvin Marvin. You remember Starvin Marvin? I don't know if that may go back a little further than you can
Yeah, I think you're good. Hang on, let me pull up my app here and see. No, I can't go back that far.
German Denny.
Yeah, who was the one that used to drive like with the trucker? Do you remember the Roadhog number? Let's see, 60. I know his name.
Wayne Duvall.
Wayne Duvall. Yes, that's another one. Yeah, yeah. So many of those guys, and Richmond Raceway was always labeled the action track. And then here lately, they've got away from that. But man, I don't know. I personally, as a fan, as someone who grew up at Richmond, I would personally like to see that come back, because for so long, the track and the community and everybody embraced that, because Richmond was the action track, and it really still is. And I think we should just call it what it is. It's the action track. So
yeah, definitely. It's that brings back a lot of good memories for me. That was a really fun class. That was kind of the starter class. That was kind of like if you wanted to get into racing and see if you liked it, but it not cost you a whole lot, you could do that. You could spend less than $1,000 and buy you a junk car and throw your roll cage in it. That's what my uncle did. We bought an old green Nova, and my family knocked the windows out of it, and they welded the roll cage up, and he went racing. That was a really cool time. It brings back a lot of good memories for me. That was back in the Bomber days. My father-in-law, he raced a Bomber. And I always wonder how would have been if I'd have started in one of those classes and then kind of worked my way up, because I kind of got my start when my dad, my grandpa passed away, and my dad was, he'd done put in his time, he was ready to do something different and maybe kind of see what I could do. And, first V8 that I ever drove was a race car. So I jumped straight into late models, and just kind of took off, it just brings back a lot of memories when you mention those names and stuff. It's just a lot of good times there.
Well, and you talked about, Wes mentioned the Carriers being going way back, but you talked about it a little bit there too. But those of us from here around Richmond, growing up at Richmond Raceway, we know the Barretts go way back too, man. It didn't start with you. That's a name when it comes to racing at Richmond Raceway that everybody knows, and it's like I said, not just you being a 6-time track champion, just one behind Bobby Carrier Jr. for the tying the most all time. You're gonna have a chance to tie that this year. I think you got a good shot at it. But like I said, the Barrett name also, for those of us who are around here, it goes way back.
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot. My dad, it all got started with my dad and my uncles and my grandpa, and they built a car and had somebody drive it, and that guy tore it up the first night. And my dad, he said, I think I can tear it up just as easy as he did. And so they put a car together, and I think they actually built it a little bit too wide, and couldn't get it out the garage door. I think they wound up having to take out part of the garage door to get the car outside. But I think my dad actually debuted one of the very first Camaros that was ever in this area, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh wow, yeah.
That was back. Yeah. I want to say it was like probably 77, 78, somewhere around in there. So just a lot of good memories, and just really cool to see the history with that, and the respect that we get, that just been racing so long out there, man. It's just really cool to see that. It means a lot.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, before we came on the show, if you ask most people, heck, even here in Richmond, go anywhere and try to talk to the normal person about dirt racing, and they don't have a clue what you're talking about. They don't even know it exists. But you know what? For all of us on this podcast, if you're listening to this podcast, I guarantee you're watching on here with us. Racing's a big deal to you, and it's a big deal to our small little circle. And so, that's what makes it what it is, though. Local racing, for those of us who know about it and are into it, we're into it, and it means a lot to us. Same is true for you all as drivers, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said it for a long time. If you want to keep your kids out of trouble, get them a race car. Get them a race car and get them to a racetrack. They won't have time to do anything else or any money to do anything else.
Yeah.
It'll keep them out of trouble. You'll know where they're at every single weekend. It's just a cool sport to be a part of, and I'm just really thankful that really I was born into it, honestly, and I'm just very thankful to be here today and still be a part of the sport. It's really cool.
Yeah, if you have a question for Jason, post it there in the comments, or even better, please let me know this Racetrack Connection hotline is working. Call the show. It's 859-412-1287. Let us hear from you. We'd like to get you involved as well. Jeff wants to know, how did the Barrett and purple cars come together?
Well, I think my dad started that. That's a Dodge color. They did the Plum Crazy purple. There used to be a CarQuest that was, I think it's where the old Walgreens is now. There used to be a CarQuest kind of right in that area. And my dad had a guy mix that paint up, and they, it was kind of it was our family color for so long. And it's funny that somebody remembers that, because I remember when I was a kid. I remember when my uncle would paint, the bodies and the frames or whatever they were painting. I just knew that the smell of that fresh paint meant that race season was coming.
Yeah,
that was always so exciting, to leave and go home for the weekend and then come back and here was a race car painted, purple or it may have been white and blue and purple, but for so long it was a color that we were kind of known for, and. That's kind of why I've been running a lot of purple on my cars here in the last couple of years to, just kind of pay back, kind of some throwback stuff, to let my family know how much I appreciate everything they've done for me. And, and my two cousins that are still racing today, Chad and Robbie.
Yeah.
So it's still a family thing for me, even today, 23 years later, still a family thing.
Yeah. Chad Barrett and Robbie Gadd there. So
I mentioned it earlier off the air, but there's something always about those Barrett cars was always good looking cars. They always had good equipment, and they was always a pretty car, and you just season to season you always looked forward to seeing what you guys were going to come out of the garage with, and it's always a good looking car every year.
I appreciate that. We try hard, we try to have something that is fast first and foremost, and and looks good too. But I've always heard a lot of people say, if you ain't fast, at least you look good getting there, right?
Right. That's exactly right.
That's what a lot of people used to say. So
yeah, I'll take that to another level. I'll say Jason Barrett has the best looking late model in this area year in and year out. I'm telling you, those cars always look awesome. They always have, and so yeah, I mean, I'm sure the same will be true this year. You got that thing ready to go, I'm sure, for Saturday night. It's all lettered up, and you're a body. You do race car bodies. You don't even really advertise that, I don't think, but you stay busy with it. Yeah. So I'm sure you got yours ready to go too.
Yeah, we're ready to go. Went down just a little bit ago, kind of started, let it run a little bit, make sure everything still was good. I think my only concern at this point is, am I going to fit in the seat? I think I've eaten a few too many cheeseburgers this winter. So I'm going to have to get it down on the ground where I can get in it and make sure I can still fit in my seat. But we're ready to go, man. Looking forward to it. We're excited. I was kind of hoping to get out and get going before now, but try to do a little bit of sheet metal work in the winter, in the fall, in the winter, to offset some of the costs for racing. And I try to kind of push through and get all my sheet metal work done and get my customers where they can go race. And then I'll kind of get going, and we were very fortunate to do quite a few cars this winter. And, that helps tremendously. And I'm kind of chomping at the bit here to get going, looking forward to hopefully getting it, getting Saturday night in.
I'll tell you another good looking race cars. We discussed this last week, Saturday during Hot Laps, Wes. We like to look at pretty race cars. I'll tell you another one is, if you haven't seen it, look him up on Facebook, Chad Barrett. I'm telling you, that might be one of the best looking race cars I've ever seen in my life. You got to check that out. If I had a picture of it, I'd post it, but just go check that out. That is a sweet looking race car. It really is.
Yeah, we try to take pride, in what we have, and my dad always told me that be respectful of what you got, appreciate it, take care of it, and so that's what I try to do. I try to give that respect back to him and let him know that I appreciate what what my whole family, my mom, my dad, and all the people that helped me, and wife and kids, they all sacrificed to let me do this, and so I feel like the least I can do is show them how much I appreciate them, and just try to take care of my stuff, let them know how much I appreciate it by them sacrificing, by letting me work those long hours, in the shop in the winter. And it's just real fortunate, honestly. I'm just very blessed.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned your dad. I know he's always been a big part of your racing career. You said he pretty much turned the reins over to you, but he's, like I said, he's always been a big part of your racing program for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't, obviously I wouldn't be here without him. And I wouldn't be in racing had he not been into racing,
Yeah.
So I just feel very fortunate to be able to look back on my childhood and see, I'm grateful that I got to spend my weekends at a dirt track. I really am. I'm grateful. It kept me out of trouble. And it kind of pointed me in a direction that I wanted to go in life. And, I have a lot of people ask me when, how much longer are you going to do this? And I don't really know, as long as I can afford it and my wife and my kids will let me, I'll do it as long as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope you can keep doing it for a long time. Well, one of the biggest changes you've made the last couple of years is you switched from something a lot of local guys are doing for good reason, is switching from the super to the crate pro late model, whatever you want to call them. But how has that change been for you?
I did it kind of unwillingly, I guess you would say. I was trying to ride the super late model out as long as I could. I knew that there was going to be a time when I couldn't do it. I just couldn't afford to do it all on my own. And we had some motor trouble, and it pretty much ruined our super engine. And I still wanted to race. I still felt like I had a little bit left to give as far as driving. And we had a new car. So I raked and scraped and done some sheet metal work and bought the crate. And, right out of the gate, I think our first night out was actually Rockcastle. And we wound up running, we were like second quick right out of the gate. And I think we wound up running second that night to Jeff. I feel like we've been very competitive in that class. It is a really, really tough class. There's a lot of good talent in that class. Everybody is super close. You cannot make any mistakes at all. It was I don't know. It's kind of something I knew was coming. I just didn't know exactly when. I was gonna make that jump. But I've enjoyed it, and I feel like we're going to have a pretty good year this year. We found a few things that just still learning. It sounds kind of crazy as long as I've been in it, that you wouldn't think you kind of know everything there is to know about this stuff, but I learn every day, and I think we've learned a lot of things, and hopefully be able to apply that coming into this season and try to get some wins. Maybe we can tie Bobby for that 7th championship this coming year.
Yeah. I think you can do it, buddy. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. And then next year you can get the 8th, and then we'll bring you back on here. We'll say you're the all-time winningest track champion at Richmond Raceway. So we'll make it right when that time comes. There's a picture of that 57 car, Chad Barrett.
That's a beautiful car.
That turned out great.
Yeah. Like somebody, Taylor sent that to me. So it's there you go. It's a nice looking race car. But yeah, I think that's a change. It's been a good thing for like I said, a lot of you guys. And I think we as race fans like to sort of live in the past and say, well, things were so good back then. But I think the crate division is the closest thing today that we're going to get back to that. All of you guys being able to be on a competitive level, similar to what you were back in those heydays that we've been talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think when you go back and you watch some of these feature races, you're seeing some different winners, and that's that's awesome. Some first time winners, and I think it kind of puts it back to where you really never know who's going to win. When at any racetrack that you show up, there's so many guys in the crate class that have the equipment and have the ability to win. And, that's where it makes this class really tough. Now, I will say it doesn't seem like there's as much pressure in the crate class as what there was with the super late models, which is one thing I'm enjoying myself is the there's no pressure. Yeah. But at the same time, you know that you're up against really stiff competition and you got to be on your game. A lot of people kind of, I won't say that. I mean, I guess a lot of people look at it as maybe like a lower class because it's not the super late models. But I will tell you, I've been fortunate enough to be in both classes, and the competition is just as tough, maybe a little bit tougher in this class than what it was in the supers as far as across all racetracks, in the state.
Yeah,
and something we've talked about, several times on our shows is just the amount of competition across the state, and then you throw in our regional, with Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, those guys going up or coming down and racing with us as well. And I mean, you're looking at a 30 to 50 car night, any given night in that crate division, and all of them's got as good a shot as the next one to win. I mean, it's just super, super competitive. And as you said, it may even be more competitive. Everybody's closer, seems like.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was getting at from a tougher competition level, is just the fact that the car counts are so big. I mean, anybody who gets behind a wheel of a super late model is a really good talent. It takes a lot to wheel those cars. But just with the crate classes, like a regular show last year, we went to Lake Cumberland. I think their car count was, I want to say close to 30. And then we went to Rockcastle one night, and I think they had 28 to 30. And then Richmond with their Damn Yankees race, I think it was mid 30s on the car count last year. So, I think that's good. It's good to see. It's good to see that class growing like it is.
Yeah.
And they're paying really good.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a win-win for us as racers when these promoters stick their neck out and kind of pay the purses that they're paying for a crate division.
Yep. Yeah. And fans are coming around to that as well. I feel like, I mean, at the end of the day, you get you guys in a crate late model versus a super, it's all the same. I mean, I know the motors ain't the same, but most people don't realize that anyway. I know they don't exactly sound the same, but the competition is just as good. They look the same. They're still faster than I could handle, So, I mean, 90% of us, we think we can get in a car and wheel them, but you know what? They're tough to drive. You guys, though, you put you guys in a crate, and you can put on a good show just the same or better as a super, and the car counts are higher, the competition's better across the board. It's really, when it comes down to it, it's better for everybody, and so good to see. Speaking of the Damn Yankees 50 coming up this weekend, you talked about bigger paying shows. 5,000 to win. I'm almost afraid to talk about it too much because I'm afraid Facebook's going to flag us for derogatory or Facebook. I don't know if it's how they do all that, but they're going to think we're being derogatory or something. We're not. We're just talking about a name of a race coming up here. Of course, the Lupinos they sort of had fun with that and named that themselves. Speaking of themselves, I guess you could say.
Bunch of Yankees.
Yeah. Watch out, Wes. You're going to get us kicked off Facebook. We'll be in Facebook jail. But, yeah, I mean, you talk about big paying shows. It's the return of Fast Track, a big event for them, a big event for Richmond Raceway coming up this weekend. It's really going to be a good show, I feel like, no doubt.
Season opener.
Yeah, season opener.
Yeah. There's always some stiff competition, that roll in from several states, for this race, and that's I'd really like to check a big win off the box there before I have to hang my helmet up. Man, this would be a really good opportunity to get one. I feel like we're as competitive right now as I've ever been. I feel like I've got as good of a shot as I've ever had to get one of these big wins, and I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I was kind of looking through comments here, but yeah, I mean, like I said, for you guys around here, sort of paying that big money, there's going to be some out of town people come in from outside of Central Kentucky here, so kind of a chance this weekend to defend your home turf over there at the Beast of the East. And of course, I do think you've got an advantage because it's a tough place to get around. Sometimes it's a surprise for people coming in that ain't from around here, I guess you could say. So hopefully you can defend that home turf for us this weekend.
Man, I hope so. We're definitely putting the effort in. We've worked pretty hard over the winter trying to get a little bit better. We were close a couple times last year to getting a couple wins. And, I'm hoping we come out of the box really strong here, and hopefully we can set the tone for the season early. And I think that'll hopefully it'll set the tone for picking up some wins. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking to get some wins.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so for you, man. Well, Caution says here we need to come up with you a nickname. That's interesting. I don't know. Do you have a nickname? 6-time track champion has to have a nickname.
No, I've never. No, I think when I was racing in Clinton County, I think my wife there, she's chiming in. I think they call me the Waco Warrior. But that's already kind of been taken by Mike Marler. He's the Winfield Warrior. I've never been really coined a nickname as per se. I feel like I'm so late in my career. I don't know. I don't know if I need one now or not.
It's never too late for a nickname, man. It's never too late. Yeah. So I think we ought to bring it back. Yeah, but Mike Marler, he might be the Winfield Warrior, but he's not the Waco Warrior. I think we need to bring it back and just take it and run with it. There you go, Caution. This
Waco
year,
Warrior, I like it.
Yeah,
I lived in Waco when I went to Eastern. So the beautiful community of Waco. Loved it.
Sounds like it's official.
It's official right here on the podcast. Yeah, we've come up with a bunch of nicknames.
The spoiler. Yeah. We need to see that Saturday night, the Waco Warrior. Put that on your bingo card for Saturday night.
I have to get out the duct tape and put it on the
We'll see to it. I don't care if you are 44 years old. You're not too old for a nickname. We'll see to that. Caution. All right. So he says he's got it. It's official. You're the Waco Warrior. We're not letting you get out of here without it. So
majority rules.
Yeah, that's right. If you like the Waco Warrior, comment, let us know, give us a like. We're gonna run with it. So, but yeah, Jason, like I said, man, it's been so much fun catching up with you. I knew this would be a fun conversation. You said earlier I'm not much of a speaker, and I said, man, I've talked to you way too much at the track. You'll be fine, and it certainly has been. It's been a fun conversation.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm not much of a speaker, but I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I definitely wouldn't pass up an opportunity to support what you guys have got going on there, and just very appreciative to even be considered to be on this deal, and just very appreciative, very, very appreciative of it.
Yeah, Bartley Grant says 44 is old. I'm in trouble. Yeah, Yeah.
Age is just a number, Bartley.
Hey,
That's
you're
right.
you're still a young pup too, Bartley Grant. Don't worry. But yeah, man. Good luck this weekend. I'll be there watching you, and really, really, really looking forward to it. I hope you can pick up that win and take home the Damn Yankees 50 check.
Man, that would be awesome. Hey, if that happens, I definitely expect to see all you guys in victory lane. I just really appreciate of how long I've been in the sport and what all I've been able to accomplish, and all the friends and great people that I've got to meet. Throughout my journey here, just been a real cool journey, and I couldn't have done that. Obviously without my wife. She's my biggest supporter.
Yeah.
She's sacrificed a lot of weekends for me, and so I'm very appreciative of her and, my mom and my dad and Faye and Gary. I got a lot of people that support me and stand behind me, whether we suck or whether we win, they stand behind me. And I'm just very fortunate to have all those people in my life, man. I'm just really appreciate it.
It's super important to have that. And,
absolutely.
And that's definitely something you can say, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had some great sponsors, along the way too. And, those guys are like family to me. That's just kind of the way that I treat everything. This is a family deal for me. So anybody that comes in, I treat them like family, and they are family. So it's just pretty cool deal.
Yeah. Wes, I've pretty much hogged this thing. I'm gonna let you go ahead and ask what you. I'll let you end it. Go ahead. I know what you're gonna ask.
I mean, you've had diarrhea of the mouth this whole show, and I've sat over here like a good little boy and just grinned, commented when I could.
You're good at that. You're good.
I guess, Jason, I know predominantly you're going to be racing Richmond Raceway, but do you have some plans to maybe venture out and run some other tracks across the state, or maybe even travel a little bit and run throughout the region?
Yeah, definitely. We'll race at Richmond when they're open. And when they're not open, we're definitely going to venture out to Rockcastle and Lake Cumberland and Ponderosa and try to get down to Corbin. I didn't get a chance to get down there last year. Just kind of depends on how things go through the week. I have a lot of stuff going on through the week, work and helping around the house here, taking care of the farm and horses and whatever my girls want to do. But yeah, our intentions are to get out and try to support every racetrack that we can. I think we got out to about 5 different racetracks last year. Went to Florence. I was really competitive up there. Had a good time. So definitely want to go back there. But yeah, we definitely plan on hitting all of our close to home tracks, right here close to home, more than once this year. That's the plan.
Good deal. Yeah, you definitely need to take the journey down to Corbin, Thunder Mountain Speedway. Beautiful facility. They're working on that track and getting it into shape this year. And that's definitely one you need to make a chance to go down and race on this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting down there. Looks like a fun racetrack. Looks like a super nice facility. I've raced with Dennis for several years, and looking forward to getting down there and supporting them, and just trying to support everybody. Everybody that we can is kind of the plan this year. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm letting you end the interview, Wes.
You're letting me end the interview.
You got it, buddy. I'm waiting on you.
All right. Well, as we always do, Jason, to finish the show, tell us about your sponsors, and you've already talked about your family and all their help and support, but mention your sponsors that help you get up and down the road every weekend and do what you love.
Yeah, first and foremost, I got Wild Cody's Guns and Ammo. It's Daryl and Donna Muncie. They're family. There's he calls me his other son, and he's been a big supporter of mine for a long time. And so I can't thank them enough for what they've helped me accomplish and what they've helped me do over the years. I got Central Kentucky Pressure Washing. let's see. I got Tim Logan Racing. Tim has been fantastic to me. I've done business with Tim for probably going on 15 years now, I'd say, and he's like family to me. I can call him up anytime, day or night, and he'll answer my phone call. So he's been a tremendous help to me. Tyler Watson with Watson Heating and Air. You'll be seeing him in a modified this year. Tyler's a great guy and a good talent and got a really good looking car. Just very appreciative that he come on board. Got InFast Supply, Joe's Racing Parts. That's Joe Mayab. He helps me out quite a bit and a real good friend. Travis Kearns, we took him our motor and he freshened it up and it sounds really, really good. So I'm excited to get it out and see, kind of see what it's going to do. And I got Curry's Farm Service and mowing. I think that about wraps everybody up. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Go Lithium came on board here just within the last couple of weeks. Thought that was pretty cool. And usually don't get any kind of deal like that, but I was able to close a deal on that. And that's been a tremendous help.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably about it. I think.
Yeah, I think you might have forgot who put the body on the car. You might need to.
That's just a pastime.
Yeah. But well, anyways, that's didn't want you to forget that because you do a good job with that stuff.
I appreciate
you really do.
I take pride in it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely got some great sponsors on board. You mentioned Tim Logan Racing. He's helped a lot of people throughout the years, across the state, but also across the United States in racing endeavors, and that's one we need to try to get on the show.
Oh yeah, Tim is a fantastic guy. He's very quiet. He's very soft spoken, but he's been in the sport a long time, and he's been in the sport at the highest level.
Yeah.
So he knows what it takes, and I knew a long time ago I needed to align myself, with someone who obviously had way more knowledge than I had, and who could kind of point me in the right direction. And he's never steered me wrong. He's always been honest with me when I've talked to him about some ideas. He's kind of told me, that I don't think that's going to work. And this car that we got now, put it together in his shop. I mean, we literally, me and my cousin Chad drove up there. My dad went to West Virginia, picked the chassis up, and we came back, took it to his shop, and he just opened his doors and let us put it together and worked till 2 o'clock in the morning, helping us get it rolling so we get it back home. And Tim's just a fantastic guy, man. He really is. He's a good person.
That's awesome.
Yep, that's cool. Well, I'll go ahead and end. See, if I let Wes, here's what happened. If I let Wes in the interview, you'll be here till 1 o'clock in the morning, Jason. So I'll go ahead and let you go. He's always the last one to leave the racetrack, and like I said, if it's up to him, we'd never get to go to bed. So good luck this weekend. I'll be there watching you and really looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for what you do.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, buddy. Have a good evening.
Buddy.
Thank you. You guys too.
Good luck this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Jason Barrett here on the Dirt Racing the Bluegrass Live podcast. It's true. I had to go ahead and end the interview. You'd have had him on here till 1 o'clock in the morning. It's true. I ain't lying.
I know it's true. And if everybody saw the picture that you posted when we left Rockcastle Speedway Sunday morning, because it was after midnight, my pretty little Dodge Durango Citadel was the last vehicle.
Yep.
In the parking lot.
Literally the only one left.
Yeah,
yep.
The only one left. But what a great night we did have it at Rockcastle, and then we left there and went to the truck stop and ate a big breakfast there at the Derby truck stop, and that was a good way to end the night.
That's right. That was good eating. Ben Petrie said that's why you're worldwide. You're exactly right, Ben. That's exactly why he's worldwide. Every time
Prestige,
I turn around, he's stopping to have a.
West.
That's right. Oh Oh man, so it is true. Well, a few more events that I definitely want to mention here tonight, Wes. While we've got just a second, we've got some people on here. Like I said, we thank all of our tracks for their support. Man, it's just been incredible. Every one of them, the way they've helped us out, and I hope we can return the favor. But at Lake Cumberland Speedway on Friday night, a little bit different for them. This weekend, Friday night racing over at Lake Cumberland Speedway for the Spring Nationals, their first ever appearance to Lake Cumberland. I'm planning on going there as well and checking that out. I'm looking forward to it. That'll be a fun show. Ray Cook Series, they always do a great job, and you know that track will be ready, and it's going to be another good show over at Lake Cumberland.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that is, unfortunately, Lucas Oil again canceled due to the weather. They were set to run in the northern part of the country this weekend, and so another opportunity. Who knows who could show up? There at Burnside on Friday night. 7,553 to win. So should be a great night of racing. And then all other classes will be on the ticket as well.
Yeah, and you're right. And should say as well, Ben Johnny Hart's on here. Ben Petrie has had 2 big wins at Thunder Mountain Speedway. Of course, we appreciate them as well. They're off this weekend. They ran last weekend. Had a good show up there at Corbin. I said, man, one of the biggest problems in life is we can't be 2 or 3 places at once. I really wish we could, and we're wanting to get back up there as soon as we can. And they're running again on May the 6th, I believe it is. But to see them, great folks, and glad to hear they had a good show up there on Saturday night as well. So, big shout out to them.
That's Ben the Jockey Petrie.
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
Number 43 on the car, number 1 in your hearts.
Yeah, there you go. Just disappointed he doesn't have it on the car. You know,
He's going to. I talked to him on the phone a couple nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He needs to do it. I'm not sure.
It's going to make its way on the car.
Yeah. Well, good. And then also on Saturday night, the Ben Petrie, he says it's coming. All right, good deal.
There it is.
We'll accept that. Yeah, good. So we want to see it for sure. Regular show at Mud Lick. Of course, regular show at Mud Lick always includes super late models. So if you're up there in that area, I know several of you are. Listen to our podcast. Go check them out. That'll be their second event. They got rained out last weekend, but like I said, go check them out. And they're just a few weeks away from their first big super late model show as well. So go enjoy a good night up there. And I went a couple weeks ago, and it was a lot of fun. So. Go check them out for sure. So it's been another fun show. Jason Barrett, like I said, he was he truly, I knew he would be. He said he was trying to fool me on the phone. He said, I don't know, I'm not. I said, buddy, I've talked to you way too many times at the racetrack. But he was a lot of fun. Yeah,
he did an excellent job as we knew he would, and just so thankful for him coming on and spending a little time with us on our podcast. That's just awesome. We appreciate him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope to see everybody at the racetrack this weekend. It has been another fun show. Really quick, I just want to thank all of our sponsors here on the podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you. We really do. Smokehouse Grill and Buffet, Racetrack Connection, Bluegrass Restoration and Construction, the Detail Shop, Extreme Style Signs and Graphics, Fast Track Racing Series, Ultimate Heart of America Super Late Model Series, Dirtman Diecast. I don't know if I mentioned him. I had a segment, but I skipped over it. Dirtman Diecast. Be sure to check him out at a local racetrack. Go to his website, dirtmandiecast.com. He's got some good stuff there for all of you fans. CT Promotions. Unfortunately, their event, they just keep getting rained out, man. Valvoline Ironman Series, Bruce Built Performance Modified Series, they just keep on having issues with the weather ain't cooperating, but they're going to get their season going eventually. Mud Lick Valley Raceway, Richmond Raceway, Rockcastle Speedway, Thunder Mountain Speedway, Lake Cumberland Speedway, and Ponderosa Speedway. I've got so good at that, Wes. That screen right there, I tell you what, it sure helps me a lot.
Yeah.
So glad to have that. But thank you to everyone on here listening to watching the live stream. Of course, this podcast is always available next day replay on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of those. You can find it anywhere.
And now on YouTube.
Yes, it is. It's on YouTube. Yep. I'm glad you mentioned that. We're live on YouTube as well.
One quick little shout out. I've got to give our old buddy Brad Lawson a big happy birthday shout out. Today's his birthday. So
yep.
We got to wish him a happy birthday. So
yep.
Had to do that before we jumped off here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Happy birthday, Brad. I hope it's been a good one. Maybe we can get you, originally it was supposed to be me, you, and Brad Lawson here on the podcast. So maybe we can get him on here sometime and do it as we originally planned. So, well, thank you all again. I hope everyone has a good evening. Hope this has been a nice little midweek, get you through the week till race day. So it's been a lot of fun, and just to help ease everybody that's stuck here with us and help you with some ear therapy while you're waiting for Friday and Saturday to come, I'm going to leave you with this. Everybody have a good evening. We'll see you at the races.
See you guys.